Hey guys, welcome back to another live stream. So today, to be honest, not really too much to talk about. We are gonna be looking at the market, see what has changed between my different charts. But truth be told, we have been in quite a boring market for the past few days. I don't think that much has really changed, especially if you guys have watched my YouTube videos. In the one that I made on Monday, where I pretty much stated that, I'm pretty much looking for a pullback. And that pullback seems to have started today. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed that we are about to see that pullback. What you have in front of you right now is a total 3 minus Solana, BNB, XRP, USDT, USDC. The whole point of this chart is to see what actual altcoins are doing at this moment without the influence of stable coins or anything like that. And this is where we stand, where I showed you guys two possibilities here that, well, rather one main direction, which is to the upside, but that I'm favoring because we haven't seen it yet, a retest of this region. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys confirm that you guys can hear me? Can you guys hear me? Waiting for confirmation, guys. I can't, but I don't know why. Try joining again, perhaps. Guys, let me know if you can hear me. It's kind of weird. Can you guys hear me? I don't know. My microphone seems to be picked up. Oh, can you guys hear me? I think that it should be good now. You guys can hear me? Let me know. Okay, perfect. Okay. I apologize, guys. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, as I was saying, look, today there isn't really too much to talk about because if you guys watch the YouTube videos, I pretty much stated on Monday that besides the sideways choppy price action that we have been seeing throughout the past few days and before this week, that I'm pretty much looking for a correction to happen in the market, which, fingers crossed, it may be what is starting to happen here, because in this chart I was pointing out to pretty much two things. That first and foremost, that I am bullish because I'm expecting this to go higher, but at the same time, I was also looking for two potential scenarios here in terms of pullbacks. I either wanted to see, which I think that we are in this scenario right here at this moment in time until invalidated, that we are going to see a pullback to pretty much the start of this last swing to the upside. So basically retrace almost, if not the entire move. Find support over here on this important trendline channel. Somewhere around here is where I would expect us to find support in preparation to go higher. The other potential scenario is a black swan scenario, which, let me tell you, it's going to be much better if we end up seeing that. Okay, but I don't know. I'm favoring this scenario at this moment in time. It would be that we basically retrace to the lows of October 2024. So pretty much that's where a lot of altcoins pretty much retested their bear market lows. Some of the altcoins made new all-time lows during this period over here. So I think that at some point, whether it happens now or maybe down the line, we will see the return back down. But that return back down, in my opinion, will confirm the significant breakout to the upside, which I'm expecting to come later down the line. I don't think that this full push to the upside that we are going to be witnessing in the next few months is going to be the full-blown alt season, unless I get invalidated on this call and this thesis. I believe that we are going to go higher upon a retest. And if we manage to hold, for example, this trailing channel as a support, I think that there is a good prospect for us to go higher into these levels. But I think that we may just retest, and maybe perhaps we go a little bit higher than that. But I think that we will get very close to the highs that we made in Q4, if not potentially exceed them a little bit. Something like this, something that will basically get people to FOMO and pretty much be super greedy at those highs. That would be the confirmation to me that most people will not end up will not sell anything, while instead we are actually prepared to go down. So this is currently what I'm expecting to see at this moment in time. And like I was saying, I don't think that we will do too much in this live stream. I'm gonna show you guys a few charts. I'm gonna answer your questions. It's gonna be mostly dictated. The length of this live stream is mostly gonna be dictated on your questions, guys, because I will go through the charts. But like I said, I don't think that there is too much to talk about just yet. I think that we are still in patient mode, waiting for the market to show its end. As soon as we start to break down on levels such as this one on the total one chart, and I apologize for this flickering by my mouse. I actually need to buy a new one. It's kind of weird because it's pretty recent that I bought it, but anyway, it's starting to act up. So on the total one, like I was saying, you guys remember when I told you that, look, we are in a very dangerous territory where overall this entire area can be considered a resistance. At this moment in time, we are in a very critical area, because if we end up seeing a candle closure below this trendline here and below this level of current potential support, and the reason why I say potential is because we are technically now retesting it as a potential support. If this fails to hold as a support and we close below this trendline channel, ladies and gentlemen, I think that we can potentially see a snapback down to at least this level of support over here, in between 3.5 to 3.42 trillion. What is the token? This is not a token. This is the total one chart. Okay, Rex? This is the total one chart. So we are pretty much looking at the entire cryptocurrency space and its market cap. I think that there could be a decline incoming. This will be a conservative target, but it could be enough, assuming that altcoins have already started to see a decent pullback down, as Bitcoin is still trading at 117k, right? So I think that if we do end up seeing a snapback down to this region, it could potentially correlate to something like 110-ish for Bitcoin, while for the rest of the altcoins it could be a lot lower. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm looking for. This would be a conservative target. Ideally, we break down more significantly, because it just means that there is going to be a bigger rotation into the altcoins. Okay, as you can see, my overall projections are a lot higher in the future, but we need to see how low we dump. Okay, the lower we go, the better. Honestly, it is not going to be the start of a bear market. It's not going to be the failure of an old season. It just needs, you know, every single other old season has happened this way, where the market basically pumps up, people start to feel like they're missing out, or they're not enough, they're not exposed enough. Then the market corrects significantly, altcoins get demolished one more time, people start to panic and not buy at the actual lows. Then what happens is that some coin, for example Pengu, right, in this cycle, Pengu seems to be the one that leads the altcoins into an old season, because over the last 90 days Pengu is up over 600%. What that makes you feel is that you bought the wrong tokens, that you're missing out, and that you should be buying right now. And instead, what you should be doing is buying the tokens that haven't pumped just yet, because it's an indication by the market, but that the rest of these other tokens will end up doing the same exact thing. Okay, you just need to be patient. The moment you start to chase, that's how you fuck up an old season. You may think that how can you fuck up a market that just keeps on going up? Trust me, you can. And there's many people that have been playing these cycles and have not made any money, or if they have, it's very little, because they've been driven by their emotions. So just stick to your plays, DCA as low as possible, be prepared to whatever the market throws at you, and that implies in terms of corrections. If you guys are in the VIP, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, and now I'm handling my capital. But be prepared for the corrections, and when you see them, every dip is a buying opportunity in my eyes. It doesn't matter if this gets tracked down for a little bit longer. Like I mentioned in the video that I made for you guys on Monday, I said, is old season being delayed? There is a scenario where that could potentially be the case, where we end up seeing the old season at the first half of 2026. But does that change anything? For a lot of you guys that perhaps may feel like you have messed up during the cycle so far, that gives you plenty of time, right, to accumulate as much money as possible, make smarter plays so that you can end up making more profits at the end of the day. Okay, so that's how I would play it, to be completely honest with you. If I were to be in such a position, use the time to make as much money as possible, whether it be through a job, through selling some of my old stuff, or anything like that. Accumulate as much money as possible, DCA on the way down. Be prepared for anything the market throws at you, and prepare to take profits once the pushes higher come. Okay, moving on, total 2. So total 2. So interesting, where we are currently seeing the pullback. Of course, total 2 does include Ethereum, so it's not the same as the total 3 that we have seen before. We may be trying to find support on this red rectangle here, okay? Between 1.43 to 1.34. This will be the first logical area to look for a potential support. That doesn't mean that you should be longing into this area right away. What that means is that if there is confirmation of a potential support, that you should be longing as this happens, or if you want to be safer, as this breakout happens, okay? Because it could also turn into something like this, where it breaks down lower, finds resistance here instead of support, and then it goes lower. Remember, my initial projection, and I've also spoken about this on the last YouTube video, is that we were going to find some sort of resistance here. Instead, we have broken a little bit higher. Now, this, until we actually find support at these levels, does not undermine my idea, because we don't know for certain here if this is a bull trap, okay, or not. The way that you confirm it is if we get the break below this level that should be acting as a support. If it holds as a support, we know that this is going to go higher and this call is invalidated, okay? And even then, right, in the case that we do end up going higher, remember, there is a trend line here that is missing the third touch. I see a lot of familiar names in the live at this moment. We got Jay, we got Rex, which I'm not sure I've seen before. We got YSF. I'm not sure I've seen you guys before, and Verix Trading. So I'm pretty sure that Jay was in my previous live streams, and he's also in the VIP, so he knows what I'm referring to. But I spoke about it in my previous live stream, and I told you that, guys, watch out for the third touch of a trend line, or the third touch of an EMA. In this case, it's a trend line. The third touch is likely going to create some potential trap happening on the retest before the reversal of the trend, until that trend line was met. What that means is that if we do see a situation such as this one, where we find support here, push to the upside to break this trend line, right, it is very likely for me to then expect a correction back down. Okay, and even then, if it doesn't happen, it's likely that we will face some sort of an hurdle as this retest here happens. Okay, you're going to see a breakout followed by breakdown lower. What happens there needs to be evaluated, but the third retest is still missing, and it's likely going to be creating some sort of an hurdle. Total 3, guys. How many of you guys watched the YouTube video? Just out of curiosity, let me know in the chat. How many of you guys watched the previous video on my YouTube channel? Who watched the previous video? Let me know if you haven't. Okay, YSF has. Anyone else? Anyone else? Rex is typing. Just waiting for him to type the link, please. Um, you just go on YouTube and search for profit magnets. Okay. You can also click on my Discord, I believe, on my account in my bio. Yeah, there is a YouTube channel there linked. But anyway, what I said in the video is that across all these different charts, we were approaching very critical resistance. On this total 3 chart, guys, look at that. We stepped into dangerous territory where we had a lot of trend lines pointing to potential resistance here. And look at what happened here on this trend line, guys. 1, 2, third touch. Exactly what I told you is likely going to happen on the total 2 chart because of that trend line. On the total 3, we have just done that, and as you would expect, bull trap returned to the downside once again. So now I'm expecting to see a return back to around these levels. Okay, 901 billion approximately. I'm actually gonna be adding an alert here because I want to see where the market is at that moment in time. From there onwards, 2 things can happen. Either we find support somewhere around here on 900 billion with a potential of revisiting 881 billion. So pretty much this area could potentially act as a support. I see a bullish breaker here, so this area will most likely create some sort of a return back to the upside. Okay, but from there, we will see what happens. But if this level over here fails to hold, this opens up the door for a more meaningful push to the downside, which at this moment I'm not really expecting. But at the same time, that does not necessarily mean that we must ignore it. At the end of the day, I operate based on confirmations. Now, because this is a bullish breaker, and because this is a bullish structure, and because there is indications across the board that we may be going higher, you know, I may potentially take a stab here and buy some stuff. Okay, somewhere around this level, so maybe buying some stuff, just for your information. But I will also keep the capital for anything else that could potentially unfold. So be mindful about that. The orders chart, find the resistance in the areas that I've already outlined. We went a little bit higher than this level over here, but this is yellow for a reason, and it's yellow because it's a weaker level of potential resistance that we could have faced. And I said that this year over here, if we do end up seeing the weak fishes, which is exactly what has happened, it is more likely to create that resistance that we need to see another push to the downside. So I also see another trend line from wick to wick, which is suggesting to me that we may see a return back down to around this region. Now, what is this creating, guys? There is a trend line, which if I zoom out, goes from June of 2023, wick to wick, 1, 2. The third touch is what created the current rally in which we're in. So what we do is actually push this a little bit lower. Okay, 1, 2. It's missing now the third touch. This new updated trend line is missing the third touch. Okay, so what do we do? Because we have another trend line that requires a retrace and another one that also does as well, what I like to do is use my concept of the trend line channels, because you kind of see a triangle being formed here between these 2 different trend lines. So what this tells me, and this is something that I use mostly for spot. I don't use this for leverage trading. I already gave you guys a strategy that a lot of you guys have been using. You guys have been making money off it. I've seen your posts on Evoy. I've seen your messages that I've been getting, and I'm really, really happy to see that you guys are profiting off the strategy. But this is a strategy that I mostly like to use on spot, okay? The trendline channel method, which I've already explained in the previous live streams. But essentially, it's when 2 trend lines are almost close to each other, enough to create a triangle. And you kind of want to highlight the whole area. And this is where you will expect to see a big breakout if the trend is to be invalidated, or in this case, this is where I will be expecting us to find support. Okay, so I'm gonna be changing this to a green. It's pretty much what has also happened here. If you look at it, I had the previous trendline channel. This is where we got the bounce, push to the upside that we have seen over here. Now, what do you notice? That this trendline channel, the new one that I've just created, is actually way bigger than this smaller one. And if this smaller one was enough to create a push to the upside of 57%, I think that this one could definitely create something more meaningful than that, and potentially maybe looking at something along the lines of this, because as we have seen in the total 3 chart, it's likely that we're going to be targeting the highs that we made in Q4 of 2024. So in my opinion, we should be seeing a pullback down into this region, push to the upside to around these highs, and then anything else that comes afterwards is truly a bonus. We already know where to look in case of potential new resistances. It's going to be up in these levels, and from there onwards we can evaluate. We're going to be taking things one step at a time together. There's also a trending here that does propose way higher prices, okay? But I think that that should come down the line, as I've already mentioned with this video over here. If you guys are new, I'm seeing some newer faces in this live stream. I've actually explained all of this stuff over here on the YouTube channel. Let me actually show you guys which video I'm referring about, so you guys can then choose to watch it afterwards, after the live is done, because I teach you how I do my personal technical analysis and the whole idea about this chart. So right now I'm on the Profit Minus YouTube channel, and it's this video over here, the hidden crypto charts number 1. Okay, Decyphering total 3 is path to ALTSEASON 2025-2026. There in that video basically break down this entire chart. Okay, hello Neo Vortex. So going back to the orders chart, I really believe that we are going to see a bigger swing to the upside following this pullback down. If we do end up going lower, right? If we do end up going lower, then, you know, it will imply that we are breaking from this trailing channel, this one that I've highlighted in green, and that we are going to be retesting the trend line that I've highlighted in red. The reason why it's in red is very simple. It's pretty much the trend line, right, that pretty much created the bull run of 2021. It is also the one that created the bull run for the altcoins so far. Okay, so it's a very, very important trend line, and if we are going to see a retest of it, it's very, very likely that we are going to be seeing a significant major swing to the upside. Okay, so you should be shooting for more downside at this moment in time, but you want to be buying in case the market wants to find a support prior to that moment. Okay, this could also be from where the next cycle comes into play. This could be something that, in my opinion, we end up hitting before 2026 or in 2026, that will create the continuation of this bull run. So very, very important trend line there. Bitcoin, I told you that, you know, I pretty much opened a short with you guys on Volio. So, you know, I'm expecting more downside here. The very first level of where we should be finding support should be around 112. We may get a bounce from 115 as well because of this trending year, but honestly, I think that 112 is stronger of a level of support, because here we have a breaker. It's a bullish breaker, guys. I see the pattern. Push to the upside, downside, push to the upside, retest of this level, and now here we go. So this is the pattern I'm looking for, somewhere around these levels. So I am overall bullish, but I'm favoring a pullback in the short term. The Bitcoin dominance being where it's at, it's likely what's going to be demolishing these altcoins a little. And at this moment, there's not much else to say about that. Bitcoin dominance being being quite crazy, because we got so close to my best case scenario area. We didn't hit it. It was not a requirement or anything like that, because I told you that it's likely going to see a pullback from either this level or this level over here. And that's hopefully what we're about to see. So I'm favoring higher Bitcoin dominance. If we see a decent crash or a decent correction, I should say, on Bitcoin, it's likely what's going to be taking the altcoins slower with it. And we should all be favoring that. Any questions, guys, so far? Do you guys have any questions at this moment in time? Ethereum. Again, I showed you guys all of this stuff already, so I don't want to waste too much of your time today. Trending channel, bearish trending channel, right? I told you that you only get a confirmation of a true breakout if you see this. Push to the upside, retest, continuation higher. At this moment in time, you are at a level where you have pretty much always had rejections from. So in my opinion, it's very likely that at the very least we should be retesting $3,000, okay? And ideally I would be favoring something lower than that. Between 2007 2005 will be pretty good for me. We will see. I'm favoring more downside at this moment for the rest of the market. So yeah, guys, at this moment, let me know if you guys have any questions, because in terms of charts, I pretty much showed you guys everything that I wanted to show you guys today. It's pretty much an updated version of what happened since my last video, which is on Monday. And at this moment in time, I think that patience is the best thing that we can have at this moment. Not much else to say on my end. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we can pretty much wrap it up. I'll keep you guys updated on the Discord. And yeah, let me know, guys. Is everything clear? Everything good, guys? How are you guys planning to handle your old season? Are you guys handling your portfolio? Very curious to know about that. Clear, awesome. How are you guys managing your portfolios? Awesome, awesome. I appreciate it. All right. I don't know. Seems to be pretty good at this moment. Again, we will have more interesting live streams, guys, as price action evolves. At this moment in time, it's pretty much not required whatsoever. It's been, you know, a cool down since the moves that we have seen, but I think that we may see some sort of bad event coming through soon that will justify the pullback, and it's going to be one of those times where buying the dip is actually feasible and valid as a statement, because it's not always the case, right? So waiting to see what you guys are typing, and then I'll see what I can do. Waiting for Rex to type his question. What is your opinion on in the crypto next week? Well, next week, let's see, because I mean we could get pullbacks even by the end of the week, so it depends. So we'll update you guys when there is the requirement for me to do so. At this moment in time, you know, I sometimes give time frames, but it's not necessarily what I do. So at this moment, can't tell you what is going to happen next week, but I'm telling you that I'm favoring a pullback that will take all coins back to the last. Just an opinion. I think more downside at this moment. I think downside. What is an altcoin that we can look at together? Let's do Litecoin. Why not? So just to make sure you guys understand what I mean, I think that these altcoins, I'll use Litecoin as an example. I think that altcoins should be seeing a retrace of this nature, where you get the low that you made on April, right, and the low that you made on June. And what you will notice, and you can do this on pretty much most of the altcoins. Of course, if you do this on Pango, you're not gonna get the same exact results. But for the most part, you can also do this for yourself. You will notice that there is a trend line from these dates that I gave you, and this trend line is missing the third touch. Now, the third touch at this moment in time pretty much aligns to where the bottom of June came through. Okay, so those will be the levels where you could potentially expect price to go to before another reversal back to the upside. So this is kind of what I'm expecting to see across the board. Okay. So guys, I appreciated your time. Thank you so much for showing up. If you guys got any questions, let me know in the chat. I will keep you guys updated when required. If you guys want more content like this, if you guys want to see my portfolio, my private trades and all of that, there is a link in the YouTube channel. You go into any video such as this one for over here, for example, and you can find the link to the VIP, and you can basically find it here. Okay, so I'll leave it as at that. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I'll see you guys later. Peace.